Thank you very much. So, hello, how are you? Okay, no action yet. So I will try to get you alive. To get you alive, I have also some presents for you, okay? So who will answer me some questions will get something. But yeah, first the introduction. So my name is Boris Cipot. I come from Finland, from a company called F-Secure. I'm the technical product manager and product owner of many corporate products that we give to our customers, partners. And as you see, we are quite a global company. So we are not only Finland-based, and this is it. So we have offices all over the world, and yeah. But I was here already last year, but before I continue, I will just take off this because maybe it will become hot. So yeah, now the official part is over. Okay, last year I was talking about something, okay. Okay, like this? Okay, so last year I was talking about something that I said, well, it's basically a threat, but it's not there yet. Okay, so this was basically talking about smartphones. We all use them, they have quite a big, how should I say, usability, more than PCs did a few years ago, but then they became attractive to hackers also to exploit all your business that you do. And basically it relates to this, what I will talk about today, because basically how many of you use smartphones also for online banking? Come on. Thank you. Okay, so some people use it already, and the update from this year would be, it's here. So the threat is here, and you can read more about it in our latest threat report. Every 6 months we bring out a threat report about what's happening in the world of malware. And the mobile takeaways would be, for example, that out of the many applications that you can download from the websites that offer the applications, more than half of them are malware. Is this surprising to you, or did I tell you something that you already know? And then the other thing would be that out of all the families of different malwares that we found for mobile devices, 358 were found only in the beginning of this year. So this means that the trend is going up. But then the whole scale of mobile malware towards the PC malware is something like here. PC malware is still the leader in numbers. And as we said last year, it all started like first you had the students that wanted to show off with code that you knew, so you knew that you were infected, and malware writers were actually known. And the numbers did not go quite high. But then we saw in 2005 the beginning of something that was more hitting. It was the criminal ages start. So malware was started to be exploited, or exploits were started to be written to gather money. And then everything started to be hidden, and the malware writers were also hiding. Well, if you do something criminal related, then of course you're hiding. But then we started to see something even more significant. It was the specialists. Why we call them the specialists? Well, because they started an industry of malware. They started to write malware for money and give it as a service to other people who wanted to buy it. So it started as a malware as industry type of things. And this is what we are facing today. So maybe somebody of you saw that the tip of the iceberg is basically missing. And here's the first question. What do you think, what's the number of malware today? If we have here, for example, the tip at 2012, we had it at around 110,115. What would you say it's today? Gift bag? For an answer? How much? Well, a little bit off, but good answer. 120, okay. 420, no, it's too high. Okay, everybody agrees that I give it to the first answer, which was 200? Yeah, please pick it up later. Okay, so the answer would be 160 million. Are you afraid? Well, if you're using the correct antivirus, then you don't have to be. So, let's continue. Why is this important? Basically, this is important, this whole trend, because it gives you now the new picture of the whole threat of cyber attacks. So we have the criminals. They are still there. They will not go anywhere because it's good money that they get from writing malware, of course. Then you have hacktivists. And hacktivists are basically a special species of the world of cybercrime. I'll tell you why. And then the last one, and not least, the governmental. How much do you know about government attacks? Nobody wants to say, huh? Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the first one. The criminal's motivation is actually money. We all know that. Where do they get the money from? Well, DDoS attacks. Then you have banking Trojans that steal your money. Then you have all other things like, for example, credit card keyloggers and Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin mining. Well, all those attacks are quite interesting. You even have malware that blocks your computers and says that police is blocking it because you have child porn on your computer and you have to pay 100 euros to get away from the charges. You have even, as I said, keyloggers, and then also other types of software that's blocking your computer until you pay. So ransom malware. But again, I come to the one that's interesting. Bitcoin. Do you know what Bitcoins are? How many of you know Bitcoins? Okay, cool. How many of you use Bitcoins? Okay. How many of you mine for Bitcoins? Okay. But for all the rest, Bitcoins are a virtual money, and it basically even has physical form, as you see here. But the interesting part is that Bitcoin is basically an algorithm. The algorithm started off as a diploma by Satoshi Nakamoto, a Japanese person who made this piece of code. If somebody needs it, I can give it to you later. A piece of code that would do the following. So if I pay to you, let's say 3 Bitcoins, we do the transaction. But somebody has to verify the transaction. So the transaction is verified in the peer-to-peer network. So 2 or 3 computers will verify that this transaction is okay, and you will get the 3 Bitcoins that I paid you, but the one computer that did the transaction verification will also get some money for it. So he will get, for example, 10% of the transaction in Bitcoins. So you can gather basically money by verifying transactions. The weird thing about Bitcoins, however, is that Satoshi doesn't exist. There is no Satoshi Nakamura, and nobody knows who did this Bitcoin thing. But everybody thinks that maybe this virtual monetization will be the next big thing. Think about this. If this would come true, then banks would basically not be needed. And then you start thinking again, like, who would monetize from that? But okay, those are already conspiracy theories. The next thing is, however, that Bitcoins are gathering on value. So it's even more interesting to people to do the Bitcoin mining, or to, as we said, to do the transaction verification. So people started to invest in hardware to do the Bitcoin mining on specialized computers that they ran in their cellars, and many times even forgot that they're running this and became millionaires. True stories. They were running such pieces of equipment, forgot about it. When they returned after 1 year to that machine, they saw that they own a lot of Bitcoins, and, well, they kept on living happy lives. But then some people even went further, so they even have special equipment. So even more money invested into those. So they even use GPUs and such things to have Bitcoin mining in their cellars. And the hype even went so far that specialized companies started to sell off specialized computers for Bitcoin mining. You see that the prices are not even that high, but the problem, however, is that they're sold out for 2 years or 3 years. So if you order one, you might get it in 3 years. And now what do you do if you don't have money to invest, if you don't, or if you have money to invest but cannot get a specialized computer, and if you don't have any means of or knowledge to put together a computer in your cellar? Well, you start writing malware that secretly installs on other people's computers and does mining for you. So they are collecting or verifying transactions in your name, but are using botnets for doing this. And again, this whole hype became so popular in the whole industry that malware writers even started to sell it off. So you can buy botnets that distribute the Bitcoin mining malware to computers, and you can be a part of it. So if anybody's interested in a new career, ta-da! Okay, next point. Money. So how much money can you gather? Those are just plain results, but can you imagine that in 1 day, Bitcoin mining would bring you $58,000? Hard to imagine, huh? But this is where the world is going. And then this brings us to the other species of the hackers' worlds, which is hacktivists. Their motivation is actually protest. They're not after the money. They just want to have everything as they want it, so freedom of speech and such things. And their hacking is for protest. You know the hacktivist groups, you know Anonymous, you know LoseSec, and you also know that they are in many countries, different fractions of them that are connected to each other. But what do they protest for? Does anybody know one case what they are protesting for? I have another bag. Nobody? Okay, then I will give you an example. An example would be those two guys. Okay, one is GeoHot, George Hotz, and one is Comex. Who knows Comex? So nobody is using an iPad, and nobody ever broke the restrictions. So nobody has jailbroken it. Really? Okay, I'll believe you. So basically, GeoHot did one mistake. He had a PlayStation 3 console. He hacked around a little bit, and he found a way how to install his software on it. So he could run the software that he wrote on a machine that he bought. And unfortunately, it happened that Sony sued him because he broke his device, he broke his warranty, but Sony sued him. So, because Sony sued him, Anonymous hacked them. Who has a PlayStation account? Okay, one. Really? You're IT people. You should play games. Okay, so my PlayStation account was also hacked because of this, so I'm not too happy, but Sony gave me 3 games for this. So the other one is Comex, and as I already said, he's connected to iPads and those things. So he was basically cracking, hacking into iPads, iPods, whatever Mac has, so that his devices would become usable. You know what Apple did? They hired him as a security advisor. Is there a reason why now Anonymous would attack them? No, they were happy. So now Comex is working for Apple. He's the security advisor, and he's bringing all the nice security-related things to your iPad, so it's even harder to jailbreak. But then again, the community is still alive, so Apple did not ban them. So, no reason to protest, no reason to hack them, and your accounts at Apple were safe. So, this was one example. But then, we can finish with hacktivists, because it's all about those things. Now I come to espionage. So the government's, how should I say, motivation. I don't like to use the cyber warfare name for this. There will be times, or there will come times when we will need the expression cyber warfare. But it's not yet there. For now, it's spying on others. And why did I use now the picture of a Chinese, let's say, IT sector? So that I give you the view that it's not only USA, it's all over the world. I'm not talking about governments only over the lake, but I'm talking about governments all over the world. All of them have some cyberspace attack, exploit gathering office like this. And basically how this turns around is that you have then those nice attacks that you know as Red October, for example, which was a nice hype last year. Then you have other news that are related to China, Japan, and other countries. Middle East, also one of them. And then you have also the things where others get attacked to come basically to their goal. And in this case, where RSA was hacked to basically breach Lockheed Martin's computer network, basically here I have to say that RSA did really a good job for notifying people that they were breached. So even if it costed them tens of millions dollars to admit this, they did it right away and said, hey, we were breached, we will change every of those devices and we will give you a new one. But still, this is what's happening. They're trying through other websites or partners of specialized companies to come into those companies. The other thing, however, is that you know about the Operation Olympic. They even wrote books about it. And you can read about Docu, Flame, Stuxnet, Gauss, all the nice things that you started to hear about last year. How many of you know Flame? Of course, in Hungary it was big in news. It was even, I think, around May timeframe. So, but what do governments do? They're hiring. They're hiring people that can do malware, that can write exploits. They are doing it either directly, so just go to an NSA web page and go to job offerings. You have also other partners of the government that offer you jobs like this, or like this. Windows attack exploit developer, exploitation developer, cyber software engineer. This exciting and fast-paced research and development project will plan, execute, and assess an offensive cyberspace operation mission issued by Northrop Grumman, which is a contractor of the USA government. So those things are happening today. And even your mobile devices are not anymore safe because they're also developing malware for your mobile devices. But why? I said already espionage. But why would they want to spy on you? An ordinary Joe that goes to work every morning and goes home and then repeats his life and everything. You know about PRISM? Of course you do. But I would say, I would call it a backfire. They were hiring people, giving them top secret clearances, and then one of them, like Mr. Snowden, talked. He leaked the information about their secret conspiracy theory and leaked it through to news reporters. Why? Nobody knows. He was living an exciting life, having a nice girlfriend and everything, and now he's on the run. Why did he leak? Was it basically he wanted to tell everybody what America is planning? That they're planning to spy on each content that you have. For example, Gmail, for example, Yahoo Mail, Facebook, Skype, AOL. That they are building in the desert a spy center. And this is not something that somebody took the photo of. It was even in Wire. It will be the biggest data center where they will collect all your phone calls, all your mails, all your passwords, all your everything that you have based on everything in one data center. Why are they doing this? Why are they breaking your privacy? God knows. So, again the question, do you now feel safe doing online banking? Do you? Correct. Here was a good answer. Who gave it? Okay, so there is no other way. In the past, you went to the bank, you gave them the money, they put it in your bank account, and this was it. You walked away. And then come John Dillinger and Bonnie and Clyde and stole it. So every era has their own criminals, okay? So don't think that this is now the big hit. Online banking is just a way of doing business, and you have to be protected against attacks, okay? So safe banking might be a myth, because you see that even governments are after your banking accounts or whatever, or passwords, or whatever they're gathering. But then again, do you still have a optimism that there is a possible solution to this? That it could still be a reality? Well, I can give you an answer. So, you could avoid such attacks like Zeus, where they stole your password, but those were criminal attacks, you know. You lost basically everything. Money mules were washing the money that they stole virtually. You could have antivirus protection, protection against phishing mails, protection against harmful websites, and also protection against cracking your online banking or protecting your online banking in one suite. This is possible, and the answer for it is basically banking protection. how banking protection works is basically that it seals off the connection that you have towards your bank. It closes it down, it encrypts it, and no other connection is allowed. So for example, most of the connections were then done so that your banking job was transferred to somewhere else and you were doing a banking job on a hacked site. And banking protection is actually saving you. So you can have safe online banking. And now think of the possibilities of the future. So if you can have protection also for your file storage, like pictures in Facebook or something, that you are in control of your files that you're storing, or in your company that you could rely on this, that nobody can get those things that you want to sync or back up to a service. And then if you can do secure collaboration with others so that nobody can spy on the transaction that you do between companies, that you can share file, that you can share transactions between those organizations. Basically meaning that your protection and privacy are secured. So you have now safe banking, and as F-Secure, we are protecting the replaceable for 25 years already. We are doing it as the trend changes. We change our technology to fit into it. You know, if it would be the times of Bonnie and Clyde, we would give out guns. Maybe. But then again, also as a Finnish company, we are proud to say that our legislation doesn't even permit such things as you can see, for example, in USA case. So now imagine collaboration with, I don't know, other syncing and backup services that you're using, Gmail or something like this. But yeah, more on this after the 30th of September. So this is a hint, please watch us on our web pages, check us out. And also maybe a talk for the next year in ITBN, where I can maybe bring you some more news on what's happening in the world of cyberspace crime. So thank you. And questions. The first one who asks a question can get something. Yeah. Do I need my headphones or? Okay.
So the SMS tokens are not safe anymore.
SMS tokens are not safe anymore. I have to repeat it so that the translation, yeah.
That's a question.
SMS tokens. So basically, yeah, there was one case in Germany. A German bank had those SMS tokens, you know, that you were verified and everything. A few days later, there was already a malware, and when you went to the web page of the bank, it basically led you to a malicious APK that basically once you received the SMS, basically did not show it, it verified it, so that basically all the transactions that the hackers were doing, you did not even evaluate anymore. So there's still a safe way to do it, but then you have to also look at other vectors. So you have to be sure that your phone is protected, that you don't have something malicious on the phone. The same thing goes with your computer. You can do safe online banking. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but then you have to take into account that if you're using a browser that you haven't patched already for 1 year, that this browser can be exploited, or if you don't use antivirus software, that you might already have malware on it that will track what you're doing. So basically, this is my point. Anything else?
Is there any numbers which you can show about how many dollars the banks are losing as a result of these crimes?
Okay, question. Is there, can I show any numbers of how much money banks are losing because of those attacks? Yes. Next question. Come on, ask me. I'm from the field. I can answer anything that you have in mind. You never wondered how malware is written or something? Okay, transaction verification. In that case, it was, for example, when you do a transaction in the bank, you get an SMS message that tells you this transaction was made in your account. To verify this transaction, please send back the SMS to this number with the letter A. So basically, the malware that was then installed on the phones, when this SMS came, the user never got the SMS. So the hacker was using your account at this certain bank. He was doing transactions, but none of those transactions was verified by you, but by the malware installed on your phone. So this was the problem here. Anything else? Anybody wonders how you can start your own botnet or something? Okay.
Some weeks ago, we read an article that in the USA, the NSA can decrypt the network traffic which are encrypted with RSA. What's your opinion about that? Is this possible or not?
Well, I ran out of time, so if anybody wants, you can come to my stand, but just to answer this one, if I'm allowed. So, yes. It is. Okay, so basically the rule for cracking codes is basically always based on the machinery that you have. Okay, so how much computer power do you need to crack a code from RSA? Well, a lot, but if they are building already what they would need, oh my God. So if they're building already this computer center, why not? And if they already have some of the companies, American-based as you see, in the program, so what can happen next? Where is the boundary where they will say, okay, this is now the user's privacy. We are attacking users' privacy. When they will stop? So how secure are you? You know. Anything else? Then, if nothing else, I will finish off. Please collect your awards. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you.